Hey, y'all. I kind of screwed that up. It's kind of the way it's been going. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm got a lot going on right now. I got fans on. I got lasers going, and I'm in the middle of a job, and I need to get that finished up. So y'all be patient with me as I get this stuff off of the laser and get this on the laser. Oh, let's see here. Comments. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know if anybody would be here. This is kind of a last minute thing for me. I'm not even prepared for this. I wasn't planning on doing a live tonight. But I got some questions and emails, people concerned about where I've been. I've been vacant or absent for this past week. My patrons are aware because I did send them some stuff out this week. It's just been a real crazy, hectic time of year. December is always nuts. I'm sure everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of you probably think you have a dysfunctional family. Well, some of you might have a dysfunctional family, and you got that dysfunctional kind of family that puts the fun in dysfunctional. Well, I've got that dysfunctional family that puts the funk in dysfunctional. So holidays are always a mess. And then the last week of December, I had 2 funerals to attend. One was the father of a high school friend. So just want to be there to support them. And then another was a family member. But it's just been a busy week. Oh, and oh dear Lord, unrelated to lasers, I've been using QuickBooks since 2008, and I'm pretty proficient with QuickBooks. But I've been using the Desktop Pro 2020 since 2020 or 2019, and it's no longer supported. Then the desktop versions are going by the wayside. I guess they've got one left out there. Might have been the 2022 version or something. And it was only going to be supported for like another year. And then even it's going to be gone. And they're transitioning everybody to QuickBooks Online. And I did not like that. Don't like it. But I made that transition, and I've been trying to get everything ready for tax season. So I've had my hands full and juggling a lot of things as usual, but a little more and non-laser related. But for the one funeral it was my aunt's mother who passed away, and I made for her just before going to the funeral an amazing grace cross. And this goes hand in hand with Rich's Louisiana hobby guy, his Lord's Prayer cross. It's kind of a play on the same principle. And this one I made out of Paduke and ash. And you can't see the lines quite so well in this one where they overlap because of the grains and the type of wood. But I put on hers, I put her name and her birth and death date on there. But this design I've got available on hobowithwood.com. And it's done this way by his grace with the cross in there. And that's a same piece of Paduke that this was cut out of, layered on top of there. And you could customize that easily, make it whatever you want it to be. Or you could completely take it off and center the cross in there and not have anything in there. Or put, your favorite scripture, whatever you wanted in there. It could be easily customized. But right now I'm in the process of cutting out one last one, and I've got one more piece to cut out. I'm going to cut that out, and then there'll be some gluing and assembly required. Then I'm going to jump over to LightBurn, and I'm going to show you how I did this. And here, let's look at, like I said, you can't see the lines real well in this one, but this one you can. I did this one all in Birch. There we go. We'll get the glare off there. So now you can see the A overlaps the M overlaps Grace, the A in Grace overlaps the Z, Z overlaps the I, and so on and so forth. And then from left to right, the G overlaps the R, R overlaps the A, and so on and so forth. And you can see those lines right there where the R sitting on top of the A, and you can see a little bit of that corner of the A back behind it there. And so those are engraving lines like Rich's Lord's Prayer Cross. But I'm going to show you how I did this. And it's not as simple as just using weld to weld the letters up, because I had to do even some more tweaking, and I used a lot of the techniques I had in my last video on node editing, because the G, the font, this G was really a wide body G, and I think the C was the same way. And when you tried to center the word grace, I think the GR stuck out a little further than the rest of it did. So I ended up having to go in and pull and tweak and twist, and because I wanted it to be perfectly symmetrical. There's the same amount of the GR sticking out past the A as there is the CE sticking out past the A. So it was more than just welding it up. And then the technique that I used to get those lines, I'm going to show you that too, because if you just weld them up, those lines go away. And it's like, okay, well, so I don't know how Rich did it, but I'm gonna show you how I did it. And but I got to cut out one more fish in the Padauk. So let me send that over to the laser real quick, and then I'll look at your comments and see what everybody's up to, and we'll start putting this thing together as we go too. So let me see here. I need to update my overlay. Oh, I hope everybody's doing well. This new year has not been too rough on everybody. And get this on there. I'm doing Padauk. Go to my library. Padauk. Cut, assign. And we will check the framing. All right, that's going to be good. And my laser is in an enclosure, and it does have the proper protection on the enclosure, and it's behind me, so I'm not worried about my glasses right now. Start that. All right, that's showing about 3 minutes to cut out. So let's see who's here tonight. We got Jeremy's in the shop. Hit that like button before he shows you his awesomeness. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Jack's here. Carl's here. Wow. 67 people. Did not expect that. Good evening, everybody. Good day, Chris. Chris, do you ever sleep? For those that don't know, he's Chris from Perth Down Under. He's down in Australia, and every time I look at anybody's live stream, Chris is there. I don't know if he's a vampire and he's up all night, or if he sleeps all day or sleeps all, I don't know what he's always there. Got all the regulars. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. Like I said, it's anytime there's a death, there's always a strain. Fortunately for me, it was not in my immediate family, but you want to be there for the family you do hear about, and you want to show support. It just takes I ain't complaining at all, but you can spend a whole day just getting ready for that. And hey, looky here, folks, this is Ashra Campbell Clark. I made it. Ashra is a friend that I made on Facebook, and she reached out to me. She's down in Antigua, and if you know anything about island living, it ain't cheap. Hardly anything's made on the island. Just about everything has to be boated in or flown in, and it's expensive. Everything about living on an island is expensive. And she reached out to me. She said that she wanted to get or design or make a shadow box. And I I said, well, I'll have you meet me in Hobo's world, and I'll show you a couple quick tips and ideas. And before we knew it, we designed a shadow box, start to finish. And then, but I don't typically like to do that because I like to test any of my files that I put out there before I put them out there. But I told her, I said, if it don't work, then I'll give you double your money back. And she said, money? What money? I said, exactly. I didn't ask you for no money and ain't charging no money. So if it don't work, I'll give you twice your money back. But it did work. She had to make a little tweak, but she picked up on how to do that and me showing her and we doing the creation. But thank you, Ash, for being here. And it was a real nice talking with you. And I'm glad we was able to get that together for you. Andy says he stopped using QuickBooks because of the online and the subscription model. Yeah, Andy, but I don't know of another option right now, and I'm dreading this year. I don't know what's going to be in store for me here. All right, let me get this off here. I think that's everything. So I'm going to start shutting these down. Cut some of this noise out. Okay. That's going to be better. Okay. Richard says, I don't care for QuickBooks Online either. I've made several of the Amazing Grace crosses this week. Oh, well, I hope you've enjoyed them. And Riches is very nice. The Lord's Prayer is very nice, but it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit more challenging. Got to have that dialed in just right and slow it down. Same thing here. You want to cut just a little bit slower than you normally would to make sure you get all the pieces to drop away nice and clean. Jeremy says, I did a design this last week with a ton of note editing in it, and thank you for teaching it. Hey, my pleasure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Jerry. Hey, Jerry. Jerry's in the house. Jerry, I took your advice, sir, with my PayPal account. I got a new PayPal, and I'll have it going across the bottom. I was using my business PayPal, and just like Google, they take a percentage of every little penny I get. Well, I set up a new one, which is paypal.me/Hobo Laser. And it's the friends and family. Thank you for your suggestion. And now instead of me getting 75 cents for $1, I'll get $1. Chris, what's he said? I don't have to all your lives come. Oh, okay. My lives in Australia are coming out to him between 8 and 10 a.m. for me. Works great, but I do usually get to bed around 3 a.m. Yeah, that's me too. And did the same thing for Bordello here. I was able to help Ashra and Bordello. And for those that aren't aware, I do what I'm doing right now with this live stream. I've got another studio that I call Hobo's World. And when people contact me with problem files, and they really want some help trying to figure it out, I'm happy to meet them in Hobo's World and see what we can't figure out. As of right now, I'm not so slammed that I've ever had to tell nobody or anybody that I can't help you. And if I ever get to that point, then I might say, okay, look, I've got too many requests coming in. We're going to have to start doing a schedule and maybe some money or something. But right now, it ain't like that. And I'm happy to help when I can help because I'm not been inundated with requests. So let's see here. Yeah. And Asher said, yep, we did. And it worked. Good. I'm glad that that light box working out for you, or shadow box. She actually, Also went to the Clack Shack's Etsy store and got his lighted mirror box after we designed one. So, Clack, if you're there, I sent her your way too. All right. Oh man. Yeah. Richard said his QuickBook Pro Advisor just renewed for over $800. Well, fortunately, Richard, I went with I was able to get by with just the essentials, and it was $300 for the year. So, all right. So that's everybody. All right. Now what I've got is I've done a few different versions. I showed you this one. This one was all Baltic birch and a Baltic birch base and a walnut cutout there. And that looks pretty good. And I like the light Baltic birch with the lines showing up there. The lines are lost in the Padauk because of all the grain and the color of the Padauk. So I went and did another version, take a twist on it, because I really like the Padauk. I like the colors. And I just did an offset with the Baltic birch on top of the Padauk. And so that way you can see each individual letter. And this one I'm going to do it'll be stacked. Let's see here. There, and there. This one will be 4 layers thick on the base with a matching Padauk fish and cross, and so that'll give it some heft and some weight, and going to keep that, firmly keep it stable wherever you place it. So that's going to look good. And this was done with my premium Baltic birch and some Padauk. Now you're not going to find Padauk just anywhere, but you could stain your Baltic birch a red color like that and get the same look. And the Baltic birch is really inexpensive compared to these hardwoods. So I want to glue these up real quick and get this going, and then we'll jump over into LightBurn and show you what I did to create this. And as I said, it's the file is already on hobowithwood.com if you just want to go over there and grab it. Your support would be greatly appreciated. And I have to do a big shout out. There's a lot of patrons here tonight, and thank you for your support. And this video is brought to you by my patrons. All right, and taking a page out of Rich's book, I've been using the Elmer's school glue, and the beauty of it is like he says, it dries clear, and for little light pieces of work like this, it works just fine without having to be. I've got the tight bond over there, but don't need tight bond for something like this. And it tastes good too. Did you ever eat school the glue in school? All right. Like I said, this was not something I planned to have this done and ready before we went live, but I tried a couple of different designs and a couple of different things, and I just didn't like the way they were looking, so I ended up having to back up and punt. So this Padauk is thirsty. I'll smear that out with my fancy glue brush. And then what I do, look at these, I don't know what they're just pipe cleaners, but they're extra fuzzy pipe cleaners. I'll use those to clean up the perimeter so I don't have all that squeeze out going everywhere. Just brush it around and clean up the excess. And I need to sand that and clean that up. Set that down, sand this real fast. just eyeballing this. And that's how I do a lot of my designs, you know, especially when I'm laying out the fonts and all that. A lot of times LightBurn, you tell it to go to center and it'll center it, but it don't look good because of the shape of the letter or the width of the word, something. It technically it's centered, but it just don't look centered. And when that happens, I do not go with what is technically correct. I go with what looks good, because when it's sitting on the shelf, that's how you're going to see it. You're not going to be looking at it through the lens of a software program. All right. So I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I want to get this assembled and then show you guys this. I just got 3 pieces to glue up real fast. Da, da, da. Like I said, I intended to have all this done before we ever got live. And guys, I don't know if I looked and seen, I hadn't seen Rich or Patrick in the stream there in the comments. I don't know if we're live tomorrow night or not. I'm so confused on when we do what we do, how we do what we do. With our schedule is so fluid sometimes. It seems like we're live when I didn't know we were live. But if we, for those of you who are watching the Laser Makers round, we do have another laser to give away. Patrick's got his laser all boxed up and ready to send to a new home. And it'd be nice if it was yours. This Lasermatic, he's giving away the Lasermatic MK1, the 10 watt. And for those who have already broke down and bought a Lasermatic, a Roly Lasermatic, you can comment in there about how nice it is. That the precision, the repeatability of it. It's, in my book, it's second to none. And we've got one to give away, totally free. But the requirements for giving away that laser are, we want to have 275 viewers in the live stream. Where'd my pipe cleaner go? Here it is. We want 275 viewers in the live stream, and we want 275 likes. And if we can make that happen while we're streaming, we will stop everything we're doing and give away the laser right then and there. And I already gave mine away. I gave mine away back several weeks ago when it was 250 viewers in the stream, 250 viewers and 250 likes. So 275 is not a big jump, and it should be doable. And if you have to cheat a little bit, cheat a little bit. If you're sitting there watching the live stream and the wife's sitting over there reading her Encyclopedia Britannica, or the other way around, you've both got Google accounts. Well, if she ain't using hers or he ain't using his, log in on both accounts. So you'll have 2 logins in your household. And so we've been having, 120, 150. We've been having easily half of what we need. And if everybody doubled up their logins, we'd hit that magic number of 275, and we'll give away a laser. And you're like, well, nobody extra's watching. No, they're not. But that helps the analytics on YouTube, and that's what we're trying to make happen. We're not trying to fool it, but we're trying to maximize it. All right, one more piece, and then we're going to jump over to LightBurn. And is kind of inside joke. And here we are, you watching me glue up something and watching glue dry. Oh my. All right. And I only hope that I'm getting these lined up enough, but I can sand off enough. I want it to be a good tight fit. And if I get it a little bit off or a little bit out of line, I can use my good old sandpaper to make the necessary adjustments. Well, while I'm waiting for that to tack up a little bit, I'll just hold this and then look at the comments. Da da da. All right. Sharon says, I used your editing technique to reproduce the letters in several projects this last couple of weeks. Thanks for your video. You're most welcome, Sharon. And Sharon, thank you for your support. Yeah. I didn't see if anybody or somebody asked a question. Yeah, Hobo's World, I'll send you a private invite. And if you have a camera, then if you've watched Laser Maker's Realm, that the three of us, Rich is in Louisiana, Patrick's in West Virginia, and I'm here in North Carolina. And but we all show up on your computer. Well, that's what Hobo's World is. I have another studio like this that I'm in now solo. I'll send you an invite that you come join me. And if you have a camera, then you'll pop up beside of me just like Patrick or Rich does. And we can converse, talk, meet, greet. I can help you with the file. But if you don't have a camera, it's not necessary. It's not required. You can still come over to Hobo's World. I can share with you. You can see me, even though I can't see you. And I can share with you my screen. And if you've got a particular file that needs some adjustments or correcting or tweaking, you can email me that in advance. I'll have it, and then I'll be able to pull it up, and you can tell me what you're trying to make happen. And so that's Hobo's World. And a couple of people, I'm guessing, yeah, I agree. It's second to none. Talking about that Lasermatic. Yeah, the Lasermatic is freaking awesome. Come on, guys. We could make that. There's 101 of it. Oh, wow. We got 105 people watching. We got 105 people sitting there watching me glue up wood. Ain't y'all got anything better to do on a Saturday night? I swear. All right. So there's the layered look with the Paduke. And I'll put a finish on that. And what the finish that I'm using is the Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze. And that's why that's got such a high gloss to it and a high shine. See how flat, how not reflective, but it's glossy. And I'll put that same thing on this birch down here. And that makes this really pop, makes that birch come to life. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding on those bottom pieces to get it in there, but we'll make it happen, Captain. Let's see here. MK2 is the bomb. I'm cutting faster and cleaner. The etch is incredible. I just did a project with a friend, and it literally took me an hour in cut time, 4 sides and a base. Yeah, that's with the 20 watt. Can you imagine doing that with the 10 watt or the 5 watt? And I've got the 10 watt too. Patrick and Rich, just the name just left me. Sometimes that stroke kicks in and it just gone. But Patrick and Rich have the 30 watt. I guess that's really impressive. Let's see. You should do it on camera. What, gluing up on camera or come to Hobo's World on camera? I don't know which part you're talking about there. And I finally got another camera, but I'm just gluing up some wood. Hopefully, wouldn't you rather look at all of this? I mean, this is much more impressive than looking at some glue dry up. All right. Oh, wow. Moses, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Can the MK1 be upgraded to the 20 watt laser module? Ed, I don't know that. I think that question has come up on Laser Maker's Realm, but that's another thing that's not stored in here. I honestly don't know. But if we're live tomorrow night, come over to Laser Maker's Realm, throw that in there to Rich, and we definitely can get you that answer. Yes, Sabrina, I was up at my aunt's house this afternoon delivering that cross that I made when I seen the alert that you joined Patreon. Thank you for your support. If I have time tonight after this live stream, I will be sending you your coupon code for my store. So do not go and buy the Amazing Grace cross. And actually, you probably already have access to it because, guys, I made this file as soon as I finished this design and seen that it worked. I haven't done anything on YouTube, and I haven't done anything in live or anything like that in a week or so. But immediately upon finishing this project, I jumped over to Patreon and made a quick video and gave this file to all of my patrons, gold, silver, and bronze. They got it for free. I really do try to look after my patrons, even though I've been crazy hectic and a lot going on. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without my patrons, and I don't forget that. I won't forget that, and I'm not going to neglect my patrons, regardless what kind of mess, muddle, huddle I'm in. But Sabrina, you have access to this file already. I will be sending you your coupon that will allow you to have 100% off. So I'm pretty sure you signed up as a gold patron, so you'll be getting a coupon good for 100% off all the files on Hobo with Wood. Terry says, yeah, it's a great machine, the MK20, but the support from the company is even better. Yeah, I tell you, I struggled the first. If you go back and watch the first videos of Hobo with Wood, it's amazing I'm still here. Rich, Louisiana hobby guy, he bailed me out. He sent me a replacement module for my failed module on my first laser and got me over a hurdle with the struggles I was having. That company was non-existent. In fact, it was so funny. I sent an email request for support and never heard back. Never. Put that laser finally into mothballs and got the Comgrow Z1 and loved that machine as far as open gantry machines go. It was another 10 watt, but it was a very good machine. And the Comgrow Z1. But anyway, after a year, I got an email back from that customer support team wanting to know if I still needed their help. I laughed at him. I said, are you serious? I said, look at the date that this was sent in. When did I send that in to you? And he went back and looked. He said, oh, yeah, that's been just a little over a year ago. And I said, do you think I'm still waiting for you after a year? So I don't even like to mention their name. I don't even want to give them that kind of free advertising. But the customer support here, because there are folks out there, and I honestly believe this, that probably 90% of the problems people are having with their laser when they get it, it's cockpit error. But the support's there, Dimitri's there, Rich is there. I can help a little bit, try to get you through that. So if this is your first laser, this is a really impressive machine. But if you don't know what you're doing and you mess things up, well, it's not really on the laser. But if you had done that with any other laser, I doubt you'd find the support there that Roly puts out there to help you get past those hurdles that you might have created. And speaking of that, if you decide you're wanting to look at the Rollies, if you want to help me out, if you go to hobowithwood.com/Roly, that will take you to their website, but that will let Leo Q, as I like to call him, and let Q know that you went there because I recommended it. I don't have any kind of coupon or discount code or anything like that, but that just lets Q know that, hey, I sent you there. All right. I put all plans on hold. I didn't want to miss Steve gluing up wood. Bob says, I bought some of that triple thick glaze, Steve, this week from your Amazon affiliate. Haven't used it yet, but I bought it. Well, it's addictive. Now, it does take a little bit of practice to learn how to get a real good coat on it. It usually takes a couple, 2 to 3 coats, sanding in between each coat to get it really nice and thick, letting lots of curing time, letting it dry between each coat. But you can make it look like glass. You make it look like a glaze, just what it's called. Oh wow. Yeah. Where here it is. Oh my. That's one of my door hangers that I got on Hobo with Wood. And for you youngins out there, which I don't think I got any youngins watching my channel, so I doubt that needs any explanation whatsoever, because probably everybody out there is of this demographic. But that's a play on AC/DC, Highway to, oh, look at the squirrel. So ADHD. And I heard somebody the other day make a comment that now that's even a no-no. That to make fun of ADHD is an insensitive thing, and I shouldn't be doing that. No, like, come on, people. Jeremy says the snow wore him out today. All right. Well, I can talk to you guys all night long, but we're going to jump over here to LightBurn and show you what I did to create this and the techniques that I used to weld those letters up and then create those lines. All right. Let's see here. Hadn't done this a little bit. Got to figure this out again. I need that done. And then we're going to, I hope this will cut over to, yep, there you should be seeing my file. All right. Now this is the file that I just finished, but this is not the file that you'll download. In fact, we will say new. Do you want to save this? No, I don't want to save anything. When you download the file from hobowithwood.com, you will be getting this right here. And let's turn off the grid. So that's what you're going to get. It's just one base, the cutout, and then the cross. It's only 2 layers. They both need to be cut out in line mode. That was one thing that was really tripping people up on Rich's cross. They had the engraved layer on fill mode, and that won't work. So make sure that you put it in line mode, but this needs to be in fill mode. So you could possibly put the text, ungroup that. If you opened it up and said, you know what, I want to put that on the blue layer, you could put that on a different layer and put it in fill mode. Come on. Fill, and save. So then you could potentially have 3 different layers. But since I cut this out of different materials and there's all different, I just left it in 2 layers. And when I'm doing this cutout, it's all in line mode. And then when I go to this, I just put it in the fill mode. 100 ways you can do anything in LightBurn. Just, whatever suits you, whatever floats your boat. But you'll get this piece just like this. And if you want to do what I just did with the multiple layers on the bottom base, all you'll need to do is select and group those together for right now. And then say Control D, duplicate it, move it up here, keeping your slots all in the same position. And now you could ungroup it, select just that outer piece, do an offset, and delete the original objects. Say, okay, now that one's wider. You don't have to group them. Just Control D, duplicate it all, send it all up above it. Go to that one, and then just do an offset of that one, and delete the original objects. And now you've got a 3-layer base that will stack right up. And since it's that easy, I didn't bother saving all that in the file, because not everybody's going to want to do it, and it's easy enough to do if you want to. But the tricky part is creating this. If you don't want to go to hobowithwood.com and buy it and you want to create it yourself, or you just like creating your own piece, or you want to do something else, a different set of letters, different set of words, we're going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to start out with Amazing Grace. How sweet. All right, and then I hit the letter A. I'm going to put all caps mode, cap locks, A, and enter M-A-Z-I, and I'm just hitting enter between each one. And there's my amazing. Now that one I was able to do in just one text line instead of each individual letter, just a letter, no space, enter, a letter, no space, enter. But they're way, way apart, and that particular font wouldn't work for me. But you're going to be able to pick and choose your fonts. And if the more you work with these, you're going to get to know which ones work, which ones don't. For right now, I'm just going to use this Arial black because it's just a big blocky letter. But see how far apart they are? And right now I have welded turned on up here. So if I was to start changing my H space or my vertical space, if I start changing my vertical space, it's going to start squeezing those letters together. And I can keep squeezing. And now once they get overlapping, watch what happens. They automatically weld up. So that right there, you could cut out. It's ready to go. Amazing. But where are your, well, number one, that don't work. And so that particular font wouldn't work because there's no I overlapping the end there. Unless you went on down with it. And that would just look funny. Then now you got just that little bit overlapping. And now you got hardly no Z up here. And that's why you have to, when you're doing these designs like this, you have to experiment and play with stuff and know what to look for and what not to use. So I forget what they call a serif. I think is what they call that. So you want a font. There you go. Something like that. I think they call those serifs, where you have that piece sticking out on your logo or your font. And if we made that bold, see how it's barely touching there? Well, if we made that bold, there we go. That's much better. That's going to be really frail and really tough to do. Or not just frail, not tough to do, but frail. So that wouldn't be the font I would use either. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. And I don't even remember what font I used when I did it. It would help if I paid attention to those kinds of things. That worked for right now, Century. But now if we decrease that, space them back out, and if I turn off welded is now unchecked, and I bring them back down, now you're going to start to see those overlapping each other. They're not welded together. And that's what I did to create my lines to show the letters overlapping each other. I'm sure there's tons of other ways to do it, and I don't know if this is how Rich did it or not. And there might be a lot better way to do it, but this is how I did it. So I wouldn't use this one either, but I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time trying to find the right font right now, and because I want to show you the technique and that I used. So first thing, I got to where I looked like that was pretty good. All right. So now I know that 42.5, negative 42.5 vertical spacing will give me the overlapping that I'm looking for. Now I need to put grace on there. And I want to do grace with a GR. And then I'm going to come over here and do CE. I'm not going to type out grace because I need to use that same A. Now I need to decrease my horizontal spacing to get that to overlap. And this is going to be a weird one because it's not going to look good. This is not a good font, but the fact that it don't look good don't matter, because what I'm doing now is teaching you the technique and not what looks good. But we'll go not there, go there, because it doesn't have to overlap much. It just got to overlap a little bit to make sure they're connected. All right, so that looks good at -22. So I'm going to do these at -22. All right. Now I'm going to put those in line with the A and make sure they're overlapped a little bit. And if you're crazy OCD like I am, I even went so far as to, and I mean, I'm really ridiculous. I would draw a straight line. Come on now, get rid of that. Didn't want to do that. There we go. Put that straight line on a toolpath and then put it in the very center of amazing. So now I know where the center line is in amazing. And then I took and drew a rectangle out to what would be about the end of the G. Say, okay, that's good. Now I duplicated that, Control D, and duplicated it, and then brought it over here and put it right there at the top. So now see how much, and this is the same thing. This is the same thing I run into with the other font that I used. The GR letters are wider than the CE. And this would make it want to be heavy on the left side. And if I brought this CE all the way out, I didn't want that. I wanted my letters, put that back in place. If I brought that CE all the way out to the edge of that rectangle, now I don't have my overlap. So when you look at mine, the R comes way in over there past on top of the A instead of just barely overlapping it. And that's what I had to do in order to get that. And I actually had to shrink down the side of this G in order to make everything symmetrical. So I don't know how particular you want to be about it, but if you want it to look like a cross, then it needs to have equal amounts sticking out on either end of it. And this is why it's worth just simply going over to hobowithwood.com and purchasing this file instead of having to try and recreate it yourself, because there's a lot of work that goes into this beyond just what I'm getting ready to show you. I made sure everything was lined up and really symmetrical. But what I did next, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the grace, because I'm not going to show you this entire process on the live tonight. I'm just going to show you the steps that I did here. First thing I did is I duplicated this. Control D, duplicate it, and just set it over here, because I want to have my original so that whenever I screw up this one over here, I've got this to go back to. And we're actually going to be needing multiples of these to do the process that I did. The first thing that I did was I needed to get these lines. Now, and the way I wanted it, I want the A on top of the M on top of this A, the A on top of the Z, so on and so forth. As it came down, each letter on the top is on top of the one below it. So I needed to keep this line and this line, but I don't need this one up here and up here. Well, if you watch the node editing video, then you're already a lot further along than everybody else. First thing I did was take this and I need to convert it to a path. Edit, convert to a path. Now, each one of these it's no longer a letter. So it is absolutely crucial, because you can no longer edit this text. Anytime you're going to be modifying text and changing it to a path and editing the nodes, first thing you need to do, since LightBurn doesn't have it, check your spelling. Because you can't fix it after you convert it to a path. It's no longer a text, and it's not editable. And you can't eat it either. You cannot edit it after you've converted it to a path as far as the text goes. So check your spelling, but this is now individual paths. And what I did was select that, hold my shift button and select this M, use my Boolean tools, and I looked for the Boolean assistant, and I looked for the right tool that's going to leave me just that piece of the M, or the A, I should say. So that leaves you nothing. I don't want that. And I think that's it. That's definitely not. And that's definitely not. So yeah, that's the one I want. So I said, okay, done. Now I've got those, and they're grouped. And I can move that right over here and see, yeah, that's going to be the right piece. But I don't need all that. So first thing I can do is edit it. I'm going to ungroup it, turn on my node editor, and I didn't need this line up on top here. And if you watched my node editing video, all you know you got to do is hit the letter D. Hit the letter D. Come over here, same thing, D and D. Now, select both of those, put it on the black layer, group them, because you don't want to mess up your alignment. And now take that and put that, come on. Oh, I got a selector, and put that right over here. Now, you're like, wait a minute, you can't see it. No, you're right. But that's where I need it. That's the proper alignment. Now, the MA, actually, that one's not been converted. That's still text because I need that to stay text. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to, and you could probably do this and more, do a couple of these at a time, but I did them a letter at a time because the way my brain is on 7 cylinders instead of 8. Do a step, finish it. Do a step, finish it, instead of trying to do all of it at one time. So somebody might be saying in the comments already, there is a whole lot easier way to do it. Well, in fact, there might be, but this is the way that my short-circuited brain works. So now I got that lined up where it needs to be. That's the, and I should have put one of these on it. Yeah, that's the text. I'll put the text on a toolpath so I can tell one from the other. And put this back. There we go. So I've got my pieces for my lower part of my A. Now I need this little piece for my M. So I need that right there. So you can simply convert that to a path, go to node editing, and that little piece right there is all you want. And if you watched my node editing video, you also know you can do this. Since this is the piece that I want right here, I can come over here and I should be able to hit the letter T, and that trimmed away all of that, but it kept this, and come up here and hit the letter T, and that leaves just that right there. So that's another way you can do it. Now I'm going to go back to that and select just that piece right there and put that on the black layer. And see, that's not the way I did it in the first piece. I'm just showing you there's more than one way to do it, but that's the only piece I need for that M. And put it in place. Now I need those for the A. So come down here, and I think I got 2 of them here. I'm going to delete one of them, and I think I got 2 of these here. Delete one of those. So now I need that piece and that piece. I can just go to node editing and hit the letter T, and hit the letter T right here. here, and here. And now go back to select. There's that line. Hold my shift button and that line, group them, put them on the black layer, and move that over here. See how easy that was? And we'll do the Z. I need the bottom part of the Z. I got two eyes. I'll get rid of that. I need the bottom part of the Z. Put that in node editing. Hit the letter T and the letter T. And that was a straight line. You could have just drawn that one. Put it on the black layer. Select it rather. Put it on the black layer. And just put that over. And you could have just drawn that just as simple as it was to do that, or simpler actually than to do what I did there, because it is just a straight line. Put that one in place. Now there's a little bit of part of that N over there, or the I and the over there. So node editing. And the difference, if you haven't watched the node editing video, and I've had a few people check out on me, they're getting bored with me. That some people don't like this node editing stuff. But the difference between the D and the T, D for delete, T for trim. The delete, if I hit the letter D right here, it's going to delete that entire line between those two nodes. If I hit letter D, see how it all went away. And I need that part right here and right here. So I'm going to undo that. But if I hit the letter T for trim, it's going to trim away everything on this line until it intersects again with another one. So down here it intersects. So it's going to stop at that intersection, and it'll delete everything else until it comes to another intersection, which I thought should have actually went all the way around as it comes over here and deleted it all at one time. Let's see. T for trim, but it don't. It went to the origin and stopped. And I can come over here and hit this T for trim. And again, here in the middle, trim. So now I've got those pieces that I need for the eye. And is that one or two pieces? That's a duplicate. So in fact, yeah, there we go. I think, yeah, delete that. There we go. That's an open shape. I don't know how that got open, but here's how you close that. Since that's an open line, that's an open line. If you select them both, and then that's the only thing, and then you hit Alt J, it joined it. And now when I select it, that's one piece. And over here, well, we got one piece. All right, so I'm going to hold my shift button, select that, and group them. And move that over here. Put it on the black layer. And that one didn't quite line up. Something funky on that. I don't know why that one don't line up, but once you see that's a problem, it's really hard to fix. All you do is ungroup those, put it back in node editing. And these were two straight lines too. You could have just drawn those out, but just move that one over and move that one there. And for some of these, like these that are just corners, it actually may be easier just to draw the line and be done with it. But for these that are the curves and have the arcs and stuff in them, this is a much easier way to do it. But now that we've done that, I'm not going to worry with those other two letters. Now you're like, okay, well, how do you get the blacks and the welding? Well, now, since this is still a font, weld it, done. And now it's welded together and you have the overlapping lines, overlapping letters. And down here where I didn't finish it, it's just welded. So it's a little bit tedious. The right font makes all the difference in the world and what your outcome is going to be, and how well the finished product is going to look. So you need to be able to see the whole finished piece in your head as you're designing it. Make sure I got the right one. Yep. Otherwise, you might find you've got an undesirable finished piece. And I need to do a little bit of sanding on this piece. And if you haven't ever worked with Padauk is it's a hardwood, and it's got a very pronounced grain in it, and it cleaves or will break very easily. So you have to be careful if you get it too thin. But it also people can be allergic to it. The smoke, the fumes when you cut, it can aggravate you. And if you're sanding it, and you get your skin, you might even begin to itch just from the dust of it. So let's see what everybody's been talking about here. Snow wire there. I left that up. I didn't mean to leave that up, but now I know where I was at. Neva says, I'm working on a project and painting and watching the glue dry. Yep. And Guillermo's wanting to watch the assembly instead of, yeah. And like I said, this was really simple and just layering one piece on top of the other. And now I've just got to sand this down just enough to get it to fit into those slots, because I glued those up individually by eyeball, trying to get those slots to line up. And I also did a very tight curve cut with this so that when it goes in, it was going to be a tight fit to begin with. So now I just got to sand just a little bit on my hardwood to get it to slide in nice and glue that into place. This assembly is one of this. It's not like my love letters. If you watch that video, that one even almost whooped me during the live stream, but we got through it. This is a very easy piece to assemble. Very easy piece. I'm always looking for an engraver. I have so many projects in my head. If you don't have a laser, this Lasermatic MK20 is the bomb. So, how do I access the files on my iPhone and send it to my laptop? I don't know anything about Apple. I'm anti-Apple, both the fruit and the phone. I'm anti-Mac, anti-Apple. I'm an Android man. So I'm totally lost on that at all. How do I access the files on my iPhone? You just go to my website, I would guess, just like any other website you would go to. And you download it to your file or your files in your phone, and then forward them to yourself, your computer. Are you not able to get online with your computer? Why is the phone part? Why is it necessary? Why can't you just go there from your computer? Thanks at Bob's World. That's really nice of him to do that. I really need to get back into my laser now that holidays are over. Yeah, I'm glad the holidays are over. Tell you what. Herbert's backing me up here. The MK is all that Steve says it is. Got one a few weeks ago. My P20 is a lonely laser. Yeah, I tell you, I've got I don't know if you've seen the video we did the other night with Jill from Algo Laser. He was nice enough to send me the Algo Delta, and it's a nice laser. It's an open gantry laser, and it's a big laser, no enclosure, and I mean, it's a big machine, but it's still just, I think, a 22 watt, and it's so large that none of the enclosures I have here will work. I don't do any projects that I can't do in here. In fact, when I design my pieces, I design them 90% of the time out of 12 by 12 material, because I know that's what most of you guys work with, or at least have the ability to accommodate with your lasers. So these great big huge monstrosities they're coming out with, I like the additional power. I would like to have the 30 watt module. But I don't need the extra space. And when I do need something bigger than this, I need something bigger than that, slightly bigger than these gantries here. I like those extended open gantry machines where you can do a 4-foot piece. That's nice. And that's when I would like to have an open gantry. But when you don't need an open gantry for the projects that you're working on, this is the way to go, because it's all enclosed. Everything's there. You get your honeycomb, you get the air assist, you get the rotary's optional. You can get it without the rotary. In fact, if you're just considering getting a laser, you might even consider getting it without the rotary, because if you decide to add the rotary later, it only costs you another $10 to buy it after the fact. And you may find that it's something that you're never going to use anyway. Because some people use the snot out of them. They're doing tumbler after tumbler after Yeti after Yeti after Stanley after nonstop with the rotary. That's all they do. And then you got folks like me where, I can do them. I mean, I had fun with this. This is, here's the alcohol, the rose-colored glasses of life. I did that on the rotary on the MK2. It turned out really, really nice. But I'm not selling tumblers and designing tumblers, and so that's not something that really appeals to me, is the rotary. But you will not find a nicer laser with all the components that comes with this machine for less money. Okay. Russ says, I finally made the tackle box and some beer bottle openers. Russ is a big supporter of the channel. Russ, I really do appreciate all you've done. And Norman, thank you, Norman. Super sticker from Norman. Thank you very much. And I'll put this up here. Like I said, these are the ways that you can support the channel. You always can do the super thanks like Norman had just done there, and a previous sticker was done. But there's also the ability to do it through the PayPal, which I got that listed in here. It's paypal.me/Hobo Laser. And that one I get 100% of the money on. Zelle, I get 100% of the money on. The super stickers, Google takes their cut. And also with the channel, it's all. So the PayPal and the Zelle gets me 100% of it. But guys, if you are not one who likes to do super stickers or sign up for Patreon or any of that other stuff, but you would like to help support the channel and help me continue to grow this thing, if you shop at Amazon for all of your laser supplies and you spend like me, I can spend $1,000 a month on Amazon just getting material in here for getting this channel going. If you're that kind of shopper, or even if you're only using it once a month, if you use the link hobowithwood.com/Amazon, it will take you to the same landing page that you go to for Amazon.com. It will not cost you a single penny more, and I will get a small penny off of everything that you purchase. And if every one of you watching, we got 100 of you watching right now, if all 100 of you used hobowithwood.com/Amazon to make all of your Amazon purchases, then that would be, 100 of you, 100 pennies, that's $1. It's a little more, but if you spent $2, and it's, maybe $200. So, that would be a big shot in the arm if everybody just started using hobowithwood.com/Amazon for your purchases on Amazon. That won't cost you a single penny and help support the channel. Jeremy, just show up to the live stream and hit the like button and hope 274 people do the same thing. I missed that question about, I guess you're talking about the free laser, and I don't know if we have a live stream tomorrow night or not. I haven't gotten an email telling me to be ready, so it might be next Sunday. I don't know. And I was so busy last time we were doing a live stream that Patrick had to email me 5 minutes before going live and going, "Hey man, where are you at?" I was caught up in doing what I was doing. PC is getting so bad. Oh yeah, political correctness is getting terrible. We will have to change the spelling of words to ensure they have equal number of vowels and consonants. I tell you, and I tell you what, I'm, my name, my persona on YouTube is Hobo with Wood. Hobo with Wood came from the last 2 years prior to starting this adventure lasering. I was living a hobo lifestyle. Now, I was a glamorous hobo. I was that guy that your mother warned you about, the guy in the camper down by the water, down by the lake or the creek. I traveled around the East Coast. I made it out to Arizona once. And that's, I don't know, thank you. But from Lake Superior to Key West, traveling. And so I was just bouncing around somewhere new every 2 weeks and loving it. So when I got back here, I said, well, I'm going to continue. I'm just a hobo. But now I'm going to be working with wood. So I'm hobo with wood. Somebody got upset by that. Somebody got their panties in a wad. Probably shouldn't say that either. But they got upset because they didn't like the innuendo. And I said, what innuendo? Oh, well, that wasn't what I was thinking of when I come up with it. And that reflects more on you than it does me. So your mind was in the gutter, not mine. But somebody pointed out to me this week. And when I after presenting one of these crosses to somebody, they said, you know, Jesus was a hobo with wood. He lived a hobo lifestyle. And he had a very prominent piece of wood that he carried. So, you know, instead of taking your mind to the gutter, you know, when you get offended by stuff that somebody else didn't mean to be offensive, but you're so easily offended, I think that reflects more on you than it does the offender. So, yeah, political correctness is terrible. Moses says, almost got the money for the MK2. I've been saving up my grooming tips. I tell you, it'll be worth the effort. It really will. I don't know if if you've got a laser now, but once you get that MK2, it's kind of like going from, and I ain't slamming. In fact, we'll use a car that's not in, it's like going from a 76 Pinto to a Lamborghini. Yeah, Bob, if I don't know how long you've been here, but hopefully you didn't miss out on too much of that demo. But if you're going to be late like this, we'll have to ask you to start. I don't know. We're going to penalize you if you can't be on time. Midnight in the sun said, "Man, it's cold out. It's supposed to be 10 below Fahrenheit." He's in Illinois. Yeah, I that was what I did for hobo with wood, or my hobo lifestyle. The reason I was moving around so much is I was chasing that 70-degree weather. I don't care for super cold weather. No, thank you. I can't find wood thin enough for mine to cut. What laser do you have, Ella? You must have like a 5-watt or something if you're having a hard time cutting. Because it surely wouldn't be the MK2 or even the 1 if you're having a problem cutting wood. What laser do you have, Ella? I'm just looking for questions. You need to know node editing if you want a good product. Yeah, I had somebody else. They might be in the stream tonight. If you are, thank you for watching and hanging around. Somebody commented on one of my videos. It was an old video, a really old one, because it was one I'd done in the camper using the laptop. And forget what project it was, but he commented. He said, "Man, really good video." And then I woke up and you were in 5 minutes down on node editing. And I'm like, wait a minute, if it was really good, why did you just wake up? Why were you asleep? And if you were asleep, I put you to sleep. His next comment was, he said, "Yeah, you're 5 minutes down the road on a tangent on node editing. You got a problem. Don't do that again." And I'm like, "But if I put you to sleep, why does it matter?" But I just replied to him, "Hey, look, I'm going to do what I do." And like here, my plan wasn't to show you how to move those nodes around or explain any of that. I was just going to show you how I did what I did. I did a whole long video on node editing. If you want to learn that, go back and watch that video. But I will sometimes take off on a tangent. But I just replied to him. I said, look, man, if you don't like it, I'm going to do videos. I said, if you don't like it, you go start a YouTube channel, do your videos the way you want to do them, and I'm going to continue being me. I'm going to do me. But I was like, really? I got a problem? I got a lot of problems, but I don't think him telling me that is going to do anything to help any of it. Stacy, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Richard said he learned 3 things. Crafting with Gene says 3. Jeremy says 3. That's awesome. Yeah, no, there is a reason I don't visit my sister in Texas during the summer. That dry heat bakes me out. Yeah. I did not. And plus down there, depending on where you're at in Texas, once I got midway across Texas, everything turned brown and was dead, and what wasn't dead wanted to kill you. It's kind of like going almost like I imagine what it'd be like down in the backcountry of Australia. Everything's deadly and wants to hurt you. I don't care for that. Say long one here says, well, I sew and I can't even tell you how many memory bears I had to make by Christmas. One person ordered one 2 days before Christmas. Yeah, you got to love that. Your lack of preparation does not justify an emergency on my part. Don't wait till the last second and then expect me to be in a panic for you. All right, let's see if I got this where I wanted to be. That's really close. Really, I don't want to force it. I really would rather work with my hardwoods than the plywood, because the plywood, I mean the hardwoods like this is the Baltic birch plywood on front. And if I sand too much out of that, then it starts going through that top veneer and you get that raw, ugly looking stuff. But with the solid hardwoods, you can sand and sand and sand, and you're not going to lose anything, change just the coloring or anything like that. But it's not cheap. It's not cheap. I get West Penn hardwoods. West as in east and west. West Penn, Penn hardwoods. West Penn hardwoods. They used to be in Pennsylvania, hence the name West Penn, but they are now about 35, 40 minutes away from me, and they're in driving distance, and I can drive up there and go through their bins and pick out what I want. But you can go online and get stuff, and they have thin dimensional lumber is how they market it, and it's all this Paduke. I've got walnut. Come on, baby. You really thin 1/8-inch solid walnut, zebra wood. Now, zebra wood is pretty. Especially once you put a finish on it. But it does not laser that well. It's okay to do solid cutouts, but it doesn't. Anytime you've got a wood that's got all that really pronounced grains in it, the softer wood's going to burn away different than the grain wood. So cuts well, kind of, but it doesn't engrave well at all. But man, you name it, they have I think they advertise themselves as being the largest importer of exotic hardwoods in North America. You name it, they've got it. And if you're into turning, if you've got a lay and you do pen blank, stuff like that, they're worth checking out because they actually supply most of your woodworking shops. Rockler, you buy from Rockler. Guess where Rockler buys their stuff? Well, they did. I think he said he no longer sells to Rockler, but Rockler used to get all of their inventory from West Penn. So you can go direct to the source, and he will sell to the public at wholesale prices. West Penn hardwoods. And they have project packs. You can buy, like, it might be 10 square feet or 30 feet or whatever. and you'll get random links, and most of it's going to be 4 to 8 inches wide, 6 inches wide, and you can make neat little projects. All of these crosses I'm making out of the project packs, but it's not as cheap as the plywood. Thanks for showing this. I've worked with Inkscape for years for cutting paper, just starting to learn LightBurn. I tell you, I was a little bit gun shy of LightBurn just starting out, because I'd never worked with any lasers or any software like this, any kind of design stuff at all. But everything that I looked at, and I really hate more than anything, just like the QuickBooks Online where you really locked in tight. I don't like to be hemmed in by something. And all of these proprietary software programs out there, the XCS and all of these others that are coming to you with your laser from the laser manufacturer, I don't like that. If their server goes down, well, now you can't do anything because they're out. And then they're all in the business to sell you something. They'll sell you the designs, they'll sell you the material, they'll sell you everything but a quality product. So I like the idea of having LightBurn under my belt and being able to create at will what I want. And when you're working with lasers, any of these other software programs out there, even the stuff done in Adobe Illustrator and everything else, if you're not really careful about how you're working and how you're designing stuff, it is not laser friendly. And if you design it in one of those other softwares and then you import it into LightBurn, there's all kinds of problems and bugs and extra layers and extra lines and problems with corners and shapes. And so take the time to get really comfortable with LightBurn, and you will not regret it when it comes to cutting with your laser. All right. Where's my magic cleaning tool? My pipe cleaner. Where are we at? We're an hour and 20 minutes in here. We're going to try and keep this to an hour and a half tonight. We're not going to go too much longer. I'm using my magic pipe cleaner to clean up my squeeze out. And then I'll need to go put a coat of finish on my base. And that one will be done. And that's just another version or a different twist. Like I said, with the back on it. What do you think, guys? Which one do you like better? Do you like the extra layer and the contrast of the two colors, or do you like being able to see through the letters and see through the background? Which one do you like better? And it's all personal preference. I'll bet it'll be probably close to a 50-50 split. Everybody's going to have different tastes. That's why we got Baskin Robbins in 31 flavors. We all like the same thing. It'd be a terrible, terrible world. Boring world. All right, let's look here. Go away. All right. Oh, and I don't know, is it Johnny? You you can cut paper with LightBurn too, right? You can design in LightBurn and cut. You even have a perforation mode in LightBurn to where you can cut out. If I've got a video where I created little tea lights, paper tea lights. I think I actually even gave that file away to my patrons too. But take a 8x10 piece of paper, lay it on the laser, and it'll cut it all out and perforate in the places it needs to, and you can fold that thing right up into a perfect little cube. So LightBurn works for paper cutting too. Chicago Bob, Homer Simpson, to alcohol, the solution to and cause of all of life's little problems. Yep, to alcohol, the solution to, yep. I tell you, I've told you, some of you commented about the moonshine I had in the last couple of videos. Well, that's not there for the partaking. In fact, I not a real big fan of it anymore. I used to when I was younger and dumber. But I'm working on a project where I'm making some custom flask, and I needed the artwork off of those labels. And the label manufacturer was a little gun shy on sharing the artwork with me, but I guess they were afraid I was going to be copying their work or infringing on them. I just buy the bottle and I'll have the label. And so that's why they were here. I don't, and I used to be a real big, I still do prefer my Jameson whiskey over anything else, but I don't partake like I used to after my strokes because I've heard it all my life. It's a depressant and it never bothered me, but after my strokes, yeah, it can make me, especially if I'm not with friends and a group of people, it can make me down, and I don't like that. So I don't partake like I used to. I don't know what the amen was for, but amen. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Chicago Bob, I'm with you too. But now, there is a problem there though, Bob. And I don't want to step on your toes because I appreciate you. I really do. But man and religion is also a big problem because of the way that man interprets the Bible. They twist it to their needs. And so biblically correct, it's how they interpret it. It's how they, so I'm cautious about even that. Yeah. And that's always, there's another amen on the PC reference. Yeah. It's terrible. That's why I'm looking for my mountaintop in Tennessee. Man, I'm gonna get me a mountaintop, and they ain't gonna be. I can see anybody coming from any direction. I ain't gonna worry about nobody nowhere. I ain't gonna worry about anybody being offended by anything I say. Da, 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 da. Beauty bubble. so sorry to be late taking my seat now. Well, I think you showed up probably about the time it was all over as far as the demonstration, but you can always watch this on the replay. It was some good stuff. I showed how I created the lines to show the overlapping letters in the crosses and the hurdles that you watch for when you're doing that. And put this one together. I haven't got the finish on it yet, but this is the design that I have put up on Hobo with Wood this week. And oh, well, just real quick, because I mentioned it, so I want to show you. If you didn't want to put any verbiage in there and you just wanted to have just the fish and the cross, we got just a couple of minutes. I'm going to jump over here real fast. This is one of the easiest things you can do. If you decide you don't want that in there, just delete it. Make sure that these are grouped. In fact, they're part of that group. Ungroup it. Then group those. And once they're grouped, hold your shift key, select the outer piece, and just align it to the horizontal center. And now that's going to be centered up in the fish. And you can put your cross right in the middle without putting any verbiage in there. And just have it just a nice, clean, finished piece without anything down there. Looking for any last minute questions or comments that I need to address before we get out of here. I don't want to go. And I had never intended to do a 2-hour live, and that's what some of them were. Mike's is 4. You learned 4 things tonight. I didn't think I did that much of anything that informative. But hey, I'm glad you did. I'm glad, and that's why we're here to learn and share with each other. Listen, it's really sad what this world's come to. So many soft people. Yeah, I tell you, it is bad. and the frustration, and I think I may have already shared this with you, and I don't know if I've done it in the live stream or not, but in my former life, I had a retail tire store, and I had a rule in my waiting room that there was to be no MSRP conversations. If I caught a customer beginning to have any MSRP conversations, I would shut it down and tell them, look, guys, can't have that in here. And I wasn't talking about manufacturer suggested retail price. I did not allow conversations about money, sex, religion, or politics, because those 4 topics are going to start a discussion that can get heated, especially when you have opposing views. And I did not need to have customers feeling unwelcome or anything like that, so I just didn't allow it. But this is a little different, and I like to think that I'm a pretty open-minded folk, and I want to feel like I learned not that long ago that your reality is not your neighbor's reality. Just because something is a absolute true, absolute fact for you could mean absolutely nothing to him, or be the complete opposite experience because of his life experiences. Your reality is not someone else's reality. And if you haven't walked in their shoes or experienced what they've experienced, then you shouldn't be so quick to shut them down or judge them. And even with some of these real soft woke people, I mean, they're either just misinformed or uneducated, or, I don't think, for the majority of them, I don't think there's ill intent there. It's just lack of education, maybe, or something. I don't know, but I try not to judge. I try to be open, and that's like here. I welcome different views. I don't, and different religions. I have a hard time, Bob, that you was talking about, being biblically correct. If someone has never, ever, ever heard of Christianity in their entire life, they're born in the jungle in South America, and they've never met a white man, and they don't know anything about Christianity, are they doomed to go to hell because they haven't accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior? That seems like that's a very terrible God to do that, just because they're ignorant of them, because they've never been, exposed to it. So I live my life to be a good person, do well by others, do right by others, and I've been taken care of. I'm not overly successful. I'm not rich, but I've never wanted for anything. I've always had what I needed. Even when I was in the hospital after quintuple bypass, 4 days in a coma, woke up with a hospital bill that I couldn't pay for, I was provided for. I did not go without. I did not want it. I've always had what I needed. Never had an excess, but I've had what I needed, and that's all I need. So, anyway, enough of that. Ashra says that Baltic gives me a hard time to cut. I have to do 2 passes. Ply cuts like butter. And Ashra, it is an environmental thing. Your settings, being where you're located, would probably be very close to the settings that Rich, the Louisiana hobby guy, uses, because he's down in New Orleans at and or below sea level. You take somebody who's up in Denver, Colorado, mile high, they're going to have different cut settings and different power requirements than what you would have. But if you haven't looked at the forum for the Louisiana hobby guy, he has a forum that you can join for free, and he has different cut libraries that you can get there. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for. But ultimately, those are just kind of a starting point. You do have to just test and figure out what works to get your best result. And you may find that it's the material that you also have available. That premium Baltic birch that I use, man, it cuts clean and cuts smooth. It doesn't have a lot of fillers and voids. The stuff I get from the big box store, there's one that I get from Lowe's that you can't get through it. You can send 5-6 passes through there, and it's just full of junk, full of glue, full of mess. It's just a terrible product. So it could be a product, could be environmental, could be a lot of different things. But test. But if you're finding that wood, it's a whiteboard that I got from Lowe's. It was horrible. Didn't want to cut. I'll never buy it again. So all right, I'm wanting to get to the bottom before I leave anybody. Mark says, yeah, solid wood reacts differently to humidity than plywood. Yep. Robert, we're getting 30. What? We're getting 30 inches of snow tonight and tomorrow, and they postponed the Buffalo Bill game because of it. Would you like? Man, I'm down here. I'm in North Carolina, and I think the local news forecast said it might have been 2 years since we've had any snow at Charlotte Douglas Airport, and even then it wasn't but a quarter of an inch. But when we get snow down here, you're lucky if it's something of accumulation. If we get 6 or 8 inches of snow, it might be here for 24, 48 hours and it's gone. And these idiots can't drive in it. They can't, and if you don't know how to drive in it, stay home. It'll be gone in a day. But they get out and they're in the ditches everywhere, hitting anything. It's like bumper cars. It's ridiculous. I'm a professional Santa now, and I'm looking for designs for Christmas, maybe small ornaments or something. Hey, Balloon Man, I've got some Christmas ornaments on hobowithwood.com. They were extremely popular this year, and I've even got a combo pack. There were some that were winter scenes with snowmen, some with deer, some were religious with the manger and all that. And they were fairly easy to assemble, and they were 3-dimensional. Wouldn't you know, I wouldn't have one here when I wanted to show you one. But go over to, if you haven't been to hobowithwood.com, go check it out. There's some really neat files on there, and there's even some free files on there. All right, now I'm getting down to the comments. All right, extra layer for sure. Stacy says she likes the extra layer. Andy says he likes the extra layer. Crafting with Gene, extra layer. I love the layered version. Okay. The contrast is on point for me. Extra. Yeah, well, I was wrong. It may not be a 50-50 split. I like them both. The 2-layer is my choice. Brandon's both. Your help on note editing has revolutionized my design work. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I love to hear stuff like that. I really do. Amber, extra layers. Extra layer. Both look amazing. Both. Ella, I have a flea market booth and I make these little metal signs that say protected. Yeah. Yeah, I had one customer who wanted a special Christmas ornament or dangling, you could hang it all your ankles. Wasn't nothing Christmassy about it, but it was, oh, look, it's my last F and it's hanging by a string. And yeah, so, but I didn't advertise those, didn't sell those. So, yeah. I like both. I like the contrast. Depends on where you put it. Janie. Okay. Janie. Okay. Not Johnny. Janie. Okay. Now that I know that, just like V, it took me, I think, once or twice to remember that V was a she and not a he. But I went to school with a V, and that V was a he. But I remembered that V was a she, and I will remember Janie after you probably tell me once or twice. Janie. I like them both. Background's easier to read. Sorry, I'm late. Can you start all over? Yeah. I can. It'll be called the replay, and you can catch it in just a couple minutes. No, it'll be more before I post it. Everybody likes the extra layer. Okay. Hey, you're where I'm headed, Philip. In fact, I found a mountaintop. It was already cleared, already had the power, already had the septic, already had the water. It even already had an RV on it, and the RV came with the mountaintop. It was everything I wanted, everything I needed. And the person buying this place, who had already agreed to buy it, once I found that place, he backed out on me. And so I don't know if it's still available or what. You can be religious without a church. Yes, brother. I have a relationship and I don't attend a local church. In fact, believe it or not, I'm sitting in a church. This house has been a church for the last 30 years and COVID killed the church. So I'm in a church as we speak. Ba, 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 ba. I used to go postal. Man, I used to have the shortest temper and I'd fight with a telephone pole. I'd argue with a stop sign. Not anymore. I'm too old, too mellow. Life too short. I learned that after the heart attacks. It just ain't worth it. Getting all bent out of shape and arguing with people, it just ain't worth it. For Ridge's Lord Prayer, I did a 5mm offset layer out of walnut and cut the prayer out of Baltic birch. Nice. Yeah, that would be nice. Yep. You got to come back and watch the replay. And go over to hobowithwood.com and pick up the file. Carl says he learned a couple things tonight. Make sure you don't actually move your tabs. Happened to me on a project. I didn't realize it until I was all finished and I was zimmily. Oh yeah, that's aggravating. Check and double check. Yep. Learned something. Guys, I really surprised. I didn't think what I was doing was all that informative tonight. Can you make the A at the top out of praying hands? Yeah, you could. Yeah, I could see that could be done. It's nice to sit down and chat with friends. Yeah, I tell you, when I used to have and I didn't have just a tire store. I had the most popular tire store in our area, in our local newspaper, and I'm sure you guys all have it, or a lot of you do. They'll run those contests where you're the best of your county, your locale. Well, I was the best tire shop, best auto mechanic for 10 years running, and not even anybody even come close. And as long as I had that shop, man, I had friends all over the place. I had more friends than I knew what to do with. Man, as soon as I got sick and sold the store, I don't see nobody. I don't nobody come around, nobody call. So they wasn't really friends. As long as I had something they needed, they was my pal. So right now, you guys are my friends, and I do appreciate you. And that's kind of why it's already an hour and 45. I wanted to cut this off at an hour 30. Martin is Saturday night, his regular time. This used to be the normal time slot for the Laser Makers Realm. And we moved Laser Makers Realm to every other Sunday at 4, I think. I don't know. Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's when we have the most viewers online for on YouTube that is our demographic. And so the demographic analytics is what made us move to Sunday at 4. And it really is kind of counterintuitive for me because I'm like, okay, that's football season, basketball season, church, you got all kinds of. So I'm like, I don't know if that was going to work or not. So I'm like, yeah, well, in the meantime, maybe I'll jump over and do Saturday nights at 9 and keep this spot kind of hot, if you will, so that maybe if we have to switch back, nobody else has jumped in here and doing something else. But as long as y'all want to hang out and talk, I'll hang out and talk. this was, I mean, I was still assembling projects or cutting them out when I started this because I wasn't prepared for this tonight. But somebody emailed me today and I said, "Did you are my friends?" I had somebody email me and just to ask me how I was doing because he's concerned. He said, "Hey man, you've been abnormally quiet. We haven't seen you on any of the normal spaces, and just want to make sure everything's okay." So that's what friends do. And so I said, "Well, you know what? I have been quiet, so I'll go ahead and do a live and show this and just let you know, hey, I'm still here. I'm here." Pa 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 da da pa da pa. If so, uh, I like the longer videos. Saves me from channel surfing. Yeah. Well, we still got 87 people hanging out. I swear that blows my mind, folks. That blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you being here. I've, the only thing in fact, I'm gonna turn that off. We're banners. Turn that off. Hide that. This one was this not hide. I want that. This one was not a video where I was going to felt like it was really about sharing a whole lot of information. So I wasn't trying to pass the pan or no pass the plate. PTL, pass the plate. PTL, no, pass the loot. PTL. But I wasn't passing the plate around tonight. But I did want to make folks aware of the new paypal.me/hobo laser, because that does get me 100% of the money like Zelle does. That was new. Carl saying, oh yes, Carl saying, yeah, to get your right settings, you got to test. And Ella saying, I give respect when respect is due. I used to kind of be that way too, but I am a lot more laid back than I used to be. You disrespect me, as long as I don't, you can be mean to me. I don't care. I mean, if you try to harm me in any way or my personal property, then you're going to see the redneck come out. You don't want to do that. But your attitude, you want to be ugly, you can be ugly. Whatever. I don't care. I don't know what made you ugly today, or are you ugly all the time? Either way, that's your hate you're living in. And I'm not going to let your hate bring me down. I'm just move on. Done a lot of test cuts, and I cannot get MDF to cut clean. Always a lot of soot. Yeah, I don't like MDF, Bob. I do not like it. I think Rich does a little bit with it. And I think depending on what you're doing, I think a lot of guys that are doing the images and the painting where they burn away the multiple layers of paint, I think some of those are MDF, but they're not cutting through it. I don't like MDF because, I mean, what is MDF? MDF is just a bunch of sawdust and particulates that's glued together. The laser does not want to cut through that glue. The plywoods that have all the voids and glue in them, the pockets, those are the ones that are struggling. And MDF is nothing but one big block of that. I don't like cutting MDF. I don't cut MDF. Jack, guys, for y'all that don't know, Jack is a neighbor. Jack is just up the street, not just up the street. He's in the same county, or parish, depending on where you're at and what you. He's in the same geographic location. And down here, if they even put a snowflake on the weather forecast, if you need it and you don't get to the grocery store within an hour or two, ain't no milk and bread left on the shelves. They will buy the milk and bread and clean it out. And I'm talking about, I genuinely had no bread in the house. And at the time, I used to eat a lot of cereal too. So I was like, well, I need cereal. And you goes, that's easy enough. If the power goes out and you can't cook, you can eat cereal. And same thing with the bread too. The power goes out, you make sandwiches. but I didn't have any of milk for my cereal, and I didn't have any bread. I walked around that grocery store 3 times looking for the bread aisle. Could not find the bread aisle. I had to ask the manager. I said, "Where do y'all keep the bread?" He said, "Normally it's over on aisle 5." Went over there. That whole aisle was completely empty. Every loaf of bread, every hot dog bun, every croissant, every anything. If it was bread, it was gone. They wiped the entire thing out. And the milk, they'll do the same thing for it. They'll take all the whole milk, the skim milk, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Make milk sandwiches? Come on, people. And it's gonna be gone in 24 hours. It's nuts. These people go crazy down here with snow. And Stacy's agreeing with them. And I was thinking you was out in California, Stacy. Where are you at? I thought you were out West Coast. The snow was never in your forecast. I must be wrong about where you're at. The 3D ornaments were a great addition for me. I'm glad you liked them. Yeah, if you say wind E to cyclones, it takes out milk and bread. Yep. Wow. Jeremy says it happened here on Thursday. So I guess it's not just a locale. I don't understand it. I don't know why that the milk and the bread is the first thing and that's all they'll go in. You'll look, there'll be plenty. I guess it's because you can use it but if your power goes out, well, if it's cold enough and it's snowing outside, you can put your milk outside and it ain't gonna go bad. And you can make sandwiches without cooking if the power goes out, I guess. I don't know. But I live in an RV, so I got a generator. My power never goes out. Yeah, and this is because I do live in an RV. Tornadoes is something that I am wary of, or any high winds for that matter. When I was traveling, what is that word? Hurricane? It's a Spanish word, but it's I was in Illinois, and I think that's correct pronunciation, Hurricane. But it's straight line instead of the swirling winds like a tornado. It's just straight line winds, 180 something, crazy mile. It wiped out cornfields as far as you could see, flattened everything. There was RVs upside down, went tumbling, and I was just on the outskirts of that. And I was like, another one. Thank you. I tell you, if you get to heaven before I do, if you look for the angel with gray hair, that's my guardian angel. I got the only guardian angel with gray hair. I bet you. Good night. I'm sure you're gone by now. Thank you for hanging out. So many YouTubers have stories like yours, Hobo, where the viewers become a big part of the recovery and a new life direction. You are a fantastic host, and it all makes perfect sense why we're all here. Well, it still blows my mind. I was telling my uncle about it tonight. And I don't know if Ashra's still here. She's probably gone. But I was telling my uncle about working with Ashra, the lady from Antigua. And it's just mind blowing, that the ability exists to even do these things. Jeremy says Sunday at 4, church is done. Well, for you, it's done, Jeremy, because you're in the same time zone. But they're just getting out. And some churches, if they Pentecostal out on the West Coast, they might still be going. Cracker Barrel is causing heartburn in the NFL. Yeah, the NFL is terrible. I tell you, the National Fake Ball League. So Sunday works for Jeremy better. Oh, and Ashley is still here. Remember to give the video a thumbs up, guys. I'm surprised. Eric says, I want to go to West Penn. I want to go to Penn Hardwood. Now I know they sell thin sheets. I'm only 30 minutes away in Alexis. You are in Alexis and you've never been to West Penn? brother, take your credit card with you. That place is absolutely amazing. He has the thin dimensional wood, and he has it in 4-inch slats, 6-inch slats, 8-inch slats, but those project packs. When you first go in the door, you'll meet the ladies and just tell them, say, in fact, if you go in there, Eric, say, I'm here because Hobo sent me up here. Hobo with Wood sent me. It ain't gonna do anything for me. I tried to get him to set me up with a coupon code because you can go online and buy everything online. And I was going to try and endorse him and have a coupon code to help drive some people there and maybe get a little kickback from him to help offset my expenses. But he's like, I don't do that. He don't need to do it. He is the largest importer of all these exotic woods. He's got all the business he wants. He loves your business, but he's got all he wants. And so he's like, nah, please tell him about me. But I it's not any, he's not motivated or doesn't need to do any discounts to get people in the door. But when you walk in and they'll let you have free reign of the place. You walk around and look at all the stuff. It's organized very, very neatly. If you need help with anything, if you're looking for bigger pieces, he has whole trees up there. Well, they call it a flit, whatever, but he'll have the entire tree of these massive monkey pod. You ever heard of monkey pod? Monkey pod trees, and they'll be 6 or 8 feet in diameter, huge, giant, and already sliced up with the stickers in between them, but you can see the entire tree sitting there. But then he has those little project packs, or you can go down through there and just pick out all these exotic hardwoods, and it's pennies on the dollar compared to what you pay for them at Rockler or those other places. Because I kid you not, this piece, let me grab this since we're still here and talking. There's 70. We're getting low. All right, so this is the first piece of zebra wood that I bought ever. And it's got that little sticker and barcode on it. And I got that from Rockler. And this piece at Rockler was, I think, $24 or $36 for that little piece right there. And it's only 4 inches, about 16 inches maybe. It's not 16 inches long. Not even 2 feet. But this exact same board, when you go in there, this exact same board with this exact same barcodes is sitting right there in huge stacks and as far as you can see. And you can get it for a fraction of what Rockler sells them for. So you're being an Alexis, yeah, you need to go up there. You can't even do a material test. I must be missing part of a conversation. Of course, you can do a material test. The best thing about these labs is I can lean just as much or learn just as much from the chat as what Steve teaches. Yeah, well, okay. That's good to know. Man, I appreciate you being here. Now, yeah, you talking about some good stuff, but you got to have some eggs for that. And they don't buy out the eggs. I'm telling you, they don't. It's the milk and the bread. And it would make sense if they bought all the bacon and all the sausage and all of everything. But no, they just buy all the milk and buy all the bread. And I guess they got everything else they need. Roger says they just got 13 inches in northern Illinois. Currently 10 below and a blizzard. Hence, I'm watching you. Man. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not in that. In South Louisiana, no one drives. They don't know if we. I'm a horrible reader, folks. I tell you what, I don't read well. In South Louisiana, no one drives. They don't know if we have to add garlic powder and onion powder on the driveway with the salt. Garlic and onion powder because you're salting it for the ice. I get that, And I'm guessing that's you're being funny about. They want to know if you should add garlic and onion powder because that goes on all your food with the salt. Yeah, I'm lost on that one. I'm getting tired. We're going to wrap this up, man. We're already 2 hours. We're half what we were to begin with. Yeah, that's what I thought. Stacy says, I am in California, but I live in the Kern Mountains, top of the Grapevine. So we get snow up here. Yep, it lasts for days because we're five. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, I've spent just a little bit of time in Reno and right there on the California line, and you got the Sierra Nevadas through there, and a lot of snow through there. And but anytime somebody says California, I don't think mountains. I think sunny Southern California. Oh yeah, regarding you can't do it. Yeah, don't bother with MDF. Just don't bother with it. It's not. I don't know what it's good for. How do you find my ornaments? Hobowithwood.com. In fact, since if you're still here, let's see. I'm gonna go over here, come over here, and share. Hobowithwood.com. And I had a few people asking. I went ahead and put some t-shirts up here. If you want a Hobo with Wood t-shirt, check out my wood. I've got t-shirts up there now. But whenever I load a product, the most recently loaded thing is what shows up here in the new products. So my love letters are what loaded last, followed by the Amazing Grace Cross. But if you go down here to search and just search ornament, result. So there's one of the deer. There's the manger and the Christmas bundle, 3D Christmas bundle, the Holy Night. So these are all the ornaments and the different ways you can buy them. But instead of searching for something, since you might not even, I may have stuff you don't even know you won't. If you just go here to digital files, that'll get rid of all of the t-shirts and the apparel. And here's just all the digital files. I got 99 files up here now. And there's it's a 3-pack of Holy Night, a 3-pack of the mountain deer scene, and a 3-pack of the snow globe. Or here is the Christmas bundle, which got all of them in there. So there's 3, 6, 9 of them total at $5 a piece. It's $15, or you $12 and get them all. And when you click on the bundle, you can see, here I have a photo gallery of each of the, come on, there we go. Come on. So you can see all the ornaments. And they're 3-dimensional. These guys are standing out proud. And the manger's back in the back, the stars in the middle. So, but I got 100 different files out there, and all of these files, every one of my files were designed in LightBurn. I do not put any file out there on my website that I haven't built myself. I know it works. That's why if you look at all 99 of those files, you won't find a computer rendition or drawing or a SVG for that file. It'll be a photograph of an actual product. I don't put anything out there that I haven't made myself. That way I know. I advertise. I tell people I guarantee my files to be flawless. And when you find a problem, let me know. I'll fix it. But I've built it. I've designed it. I built it. And it's not something that I've got from somewhere else and tweaked. I drew it, created it from scratch. And so unless it's some crazy artwork like this, I just did this. My neighbor, wait, 2 hours. Guys, I was leaving a half hour ago. We're still here. My neighbor works as hard or harder than I do. And she's a hairstylist. And a lot of times she's in there working before I come in the shop, And when I leave to go get in the RV, she's still in there working. So I made her this. A Workaholic Award. This plaque is presented to Nana McDowell and for outstanding achievement as the hardest working woman of 2023. And that's done with the finished with the triple thick glaze. And look how good that looks. And this is just a cheap $3 board from Dollar Tree. And it's already got the hangers on it. I put my logo on the back. But I wanted to make her something kind of nice. But the artwork, the scissors, and the half wreath, those I got from svgheart.com. But it's just clip art. I created the logo, the starburst and the all that. I did all that and did the offset and put that a whole thing together. But I laid all the rest of it out. I tried, clip art. I don't consider cheating, but I don't use any other. I don't even use Boxes PY to make my boxes anymore. I do all of my own stuff. All right. We're here because we learn from you and because you're pretty cool. My wife is quadriplegic, so we understand things being a little isolated. You know what? I actually enjoy my isolation. This is really cool. Hanging out with 59 of my closest friends, and ain't none of you here. I love it. I love it. And I really would like to be on that mountaintop because I do have sirens, and I'm on one of the busiest intersections in my county. It used to be the third busiest, but things are growing and moving. But it's a lot of, and there for a while it was every live stream, especially in the summer months, nonstop sirens. Police, rescue, you name it. We enjoy all 4 seasons and usually in the same day. Yeah, we get that a lot down here too. Yeah. Da da da. Oh yeah, we went through that too, Terry. Terry says in New Zealand, you mentioned COVID, you can't find any TP anywhere. It's all gone. They bought it out here for a while, but they got over it. Ashford says, I'm still here. I'm here. Chris says, yes. I remember the shortages on TP and can't figure out why. Bill, because they had the runs from all the milk and bread they ate. Yeah, I don't know what I said for that comment. It says a lot about your character. I am a character, buddy. Mike says they got monkey pod growing in the Pacific Northwest. I did not know that. Monkey pod. It's just fun to say. Monkey pod. Carl says I have a 6 foot by 3 foot monkey pod carving I got in the Philippines in 1974. Wow. Yeah. I spent the summer in Michigan. Balloon Man says in Michigan, we enjoy the 2 seasons of the year, winter and orange barrel. I did. That's actually our state tree. Yeah. The orange barrel. That's our state tree. I spent the summer up in the UP. And for y'all that don't know, that's the Upper Peninsula. Michigan is divided by one of the Great Lakes, and you have the lower or the mitten, because when you look at it on the map, it looks like a mitten. And then they have the Upper Peninsula. And I spent the summer in Copper Harbor, Michigan. And it's on the shores of Lake Superior. And I found it because I was on the road and I wanted to get as far away from everybody as I could. And there was a sign that said road ends in 2 miles. And I said, oh, I got 72 feet of truck and trailer on a 2-lane highway that ends in 2 miles. What am I going to do? Fortunately, it dead end at Fort Wilkins State Park in Copper Harbor. And it was so far north, there was no cell phone service. There was no TV stations. I don't even think there was a radio station you could pick up. It was completely isolated, and it was heaven. And I stayed there until they had the first frost warning, and I said, okay, gotta go. Said, bye, out of here. And headed west and headed south and ended up in Key West. And Terry says, man, you guys are lucky with your availability of timbers. Yeah, we can get our supplies from Amazon, but the postage to New Zealand is over the moon, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was so happy to find out that this West Penn was so close and convenient, and they are a hidden gem because their prices are so cheap. In fact, go to their website, West Penn Hardwoods. Let's see here. West Penn Hardwoods. There's all their species list. Man, that is a huge list of hardwoods, and then their products. Here, if you're looking for laser material, if you go in products and you go to thin dimensional lumber, here's all the products they have in thin dimensional lumber, and here's how they have it available. Anywhere from 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8, even down to the 1/8 inch. And the ash makes beautiful stuff. And you may not be. I think most of your baseball bats are made out of ash, or a lot of them are made out of ash. It's very, very hard wood. And when you put a finish on it, it's gorgeous. But they have right here project packs. Project packs are 10 square feet of one thickness and range anywhere from 3 to 10 inches wide and 18 to 46 inches in length, and a variety of species. They include free shipping. We also have a 15% discount if you purchase 2 or more of the same project packs. And I will buy the project packs and make random things out of them. If you're learning to do inlays, these are the perfect things to use to do inlays with. I'm sure this free shipping would not include free shipping to New Zealand. But the prices being as low as they are, it might offset that especially high freight, because you can buy the wood really, really cheap. So West Penn, or no, their website is wphardwoods.com. wphardwoods.com. And so go check them out. You might find yourself a wonderful thing there. Get you some really good stuff at better prices. All right, man, guys. Yeah, finally, Ashley's saying I'm out of here. It's midnight here. She's gone. I'm glad she's was hung out for us for a little while. I made 6 sets of your ornaments. They all loved them. That's wonderful. All right, finally. You know what? In fact, let's see here. I got to the bottom of the comments. Let's see. Kevin says, "Please stop with the snow updates. I don't want to. I don't want to call off. I have to go to Holland, Michigan next week. I have the business card holder and the series of ornaments in my cart. What other files are suitable for the F1?" What Stacy says, you can't go wrong with any of the files I got. I only buy from him and the LA Hobby Guy. Where are you at, Hobo? I lovingly refer to it as hell on earth. I am in the redneck capital of the world, Gastonia, North Carolina. I'm just west of Charlotte, 20 minutes from Charlotte. It's not a great place. It used to be. And Chicago Bob, if you're still here, we're known as Little Chicago. In fact, there's even a movie called Little Chicago, and it's about Gastonia. We have a higher murder per capita than Chicago does. It's bad. It's really bad. I bought your ADH file last week. It's awesome. I cut it and put it on one of my doors. My neighbor asked if he could if he could buy it. I said, let me check. Your neighbor wanted it, I'm guessing. Yeah. And Jack, if you're going to West Penn, let me know. I might want to ride with you, or I got a buddy. I'm surprised he wasn't in the stream tonight. Mercer Outdoors, I think. I don't know if you've talked with David yet or not, but he's another local fellow who just got his fiber, and he's working with Patrick. And I told him about you, and I said, you'd be a great person to know and talk. And I said, we need to get. There's a couple of other laser makers local that might not be a bad idea. We get together once a month and just go hang out at the Mexican restaurant and chew the fat a little bit and talk about projects and designs and ideas. All right. Everybody's signing off. Yep. So, Jack, we'll get together and let me know when you're planning to go, because I don't have a schedule, and I'll see about. But he's doing fiber work, so he ain't going to be interested in doing any woodwork. But I got another woodworking fella who might want to go. So let me know when you're heading up. You know how to get in touch with me, guys. Here it is. 45 minutes longer than I said I was leaving. I was leaving an hour and a half ago, 45 minutes ago. I'm going to log off. You guys all have a good night. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. This was an experience. Thank you for the ones that have been here. Remember, hobowithwood.com/Amazon for all your Amazon needs. Doesn't matter what it is. That will help me out without you having to spend a single penny out of your pocket. Jack says I'm going up next weekend. Yeah, so let's make a plan. Guys, have a good night. Go over to hobowithwood.com, pick up your Amazing Grace cross, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Stay warm. All those good things. And as always, I just never know when the stream's going to end. So I just